So, hello and welcome back to Slanted Dice, where we nerdy folk play Dungeons and Dragons, sit around, do chaotic stuff. Again, for this week, we have a sponsorship, again with ambientrealms.com. They have a bunch of really cool ambiances and sound effects you can use to enhance your game. So be sure to check out their site, ambientrealms.com. We'll also probably hear a few things as we play along here from them in the background. Yeah, so last week we left off, I think, is anybody of you going to do a quick little recap? We have Kader back with us.
Hello everybody.
Hooray!
Good to be back.
Hooray!
We forgot to say that you're gone until like an hour in or something. It's
I'm sure
by the
people
way,
realize
Kader's missing.
Where's this energy? Where's this drunken charisma?
They were probably saying, "Where's the main character?" I don't know. So yeah, anybody want to bring Kader up to speed? What happened last session?
Silence. There's a raging dispute
we got
between
our
the members
booty.
here.
I can quickly summarize if you want. We
Awesome.
got our booty twice actually. Like once the monetary and
Yeah,
treasures.
I was touched by a dwarf.
Yeah, and you should be happy about that. We found some interesting stuff. I mean, lots of gold, but some artifacts as well.
From the Dragon Horde, that
From
is.
the Dragon Horde, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Then we moved onwards towards Karen Reef. I think it's called, yes.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna put you guys up on the Azure Sea map over here in Roll20.
Yes, then we decided to have Tiala scouting our way through the reef, helping us not bump against any rocks, which went quite well, I have to say. First night, no, it was fine. We didn't crash into anything.
That's true, yeah.
So
True,
that's
part
all
was
right.
good.
Yeah.
We're not out of it yet, right?
No, we're not out of it yet, unfortunately.
You're halfway through. It's going good.
Oh god.
First night was not that restful, as our ship drifted slightly southward towards the Maelstrom. Don't remember what it's called.
Yeah, Lagertha's Descent.
Lagertha's Descent.
Yeah,
okay.
that one. Which
so we're
is
dangerously close to this.
yeah, it's probably not such a great idea. So we were planning on moving a bit more towards the north to get away from that.
Mm-hmm.
And was it in that night as well? Yes, I think so, right?
Mm-hmm. I think in the next night.
The next night? Was it the second night?
As you were passing through the reef, yeah, the second night.
Oh.
Because
okay.
I remember the first night you guys went ahead and you did your watches, and then we had the quartermaster Fudge, who kind of like noticed that you guys were drifting too far south due to the
True.
immense effects of this big maelstrom,
Wormhole.
whirlpool, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, second night. Because nothing really exciting happened during the day. We went just on our merry, happy way.
Well, we had, I think Branwolf finished his taxidermy of the dragon skull.
Oh yes, we have
bound
a
to
dragon
the
skull
front of
on
the
our
ship.
bow now, which
Yes,
is quite
very,
cool.
very, very beautiful, very thing, and yes,
Incredible. We all need to make some kind of decorative improvement, and that's a hell of a start, man.
Yeah, you're still not showing any color. You still haven't put a flag up there.
Just let us arrive to the island first.
Yeah.
Don't want to get any additional attention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, second night we got a little surprise and were visited by some harpies.
Wonderful.
Yeah,
just open
that
waters
was-
wouldn't be safe.
It was not that great. Interesting fight. with Branwolf hacking at them, Tiala using her mighty spells, Blackwater being quite enthralled by the harpies, and he didn't want to actually fight. He was a bit like, oh yeah, the nice song they're singing, oh that's very pretty.
They're very seductive creatures, though, aren't they? Very misleading.
Yeah, I know, right? I know.
Yeah.
It's not just me.
And
Freon got a couple of good Eldritch blasts off, though, too. So
of course. I was going to ask, what?
Yeah.
No mention of Eldritch blasts yet.
No, to the face. Great ones. Few good hits.
Yeah. And a big slap on the barbarian butt.
Yep.
As well.
So, harpies, butt slaps, Eldritch blasts, seafaring
and
whirlpools.
Kader had a little infection from his wounds, but that was being tended to, and he's fine again.
Oh yeah, we had to take one of your legs off. That was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, and both ears, by the way. You'll never wear glasses.
Who said that?
You really tried.
Yeah.
But
So
yeah,
no
I think
ears,
that's
no
where
legs.
we stopped, right?
Yeah,
Basically at the end of the night, or after the fight, wasn't it?
Yeah, Blackwater was torn down by this harpy matriarch that was leading the two others, but I think he got back up. I think Tiala
Tiala
did her
Exactly,
healing
Tiala got
word,
Me back, yeah.
saved the day once more, and yeah. So you're currently standing on the deck, still in the dead of night after the battle has subsided. You started looking around. Branwolf took some of the harpy feathers for whatever reason might come up in the future.
Oh well, I thought maybe one or two in my hand. You never know. Maybe I'll get kind of that pirate / Native American look or something. We'll have to see.
Oh,
but I always figure you never know what you might need something for someone to do a magical spell. Harpy feathers.
That's why your backpack is so full.
That's it. That's
Harpy
why
feathers, weapons.
I definitely need one of these sack of holdings. So if we ever find one
weird
of those,
goblin wine could be anything.
yeah.
A vial of something.
Yeah,
Wait,
I still have
there's
a
goblin
vial of
wine,
something.
and it's not in Kader's hand. What the hell?
I think the goblin wine is long past.
Yeah, that's
already
gone.
gotten
Matter of
rid
fact, I don't think. The only thing I have now are 3 vials. No, I do. I have 3 vials of liquid, and we checked it. Dark red. It is goblin wine. Yes, I still have 3 vials of goblin wine. So, Kader, if you ever want to poison yourself, try goblin wine.
That's good to know.
Yeah. So.
So yeah,
But that's about
you were,
it. No-
you were
no- no
checking
more
you
bottles.
were checking the corpses. By the way, Fritz
Yes.
dealt the killing blow on the harpy matriarch with his one arm. He rammed in his knife. Tried to do his best to save Blackwater, probably.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
Well,
hiding behind the barrel he's usually sitting on deck.
And I believe I
Because
remember.
you guys noticed he doesn't like to go below deck. He usually just stays up on deck, sitting
In
on
his
that
tube.
one barrel.
like Ox
I'm
on the crouch
surprised
and
at all.
You're surprised.
he goes inside his barrel
That's
once in
pretty
a while,
impressive.
looking out again. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's kind of
remember.
ironic as well.
I remember when he dealt the killing blow. I think it was something like a great curse, something like take this, you're not patriarch bitch or something like that.
You feathered bitch, he said.
Yeah, feathered bitch. Yeah.
So,
Do we
would
have
like to ask-
do we have to search anything or something yet, or should we search the bodies, or did we? I can't remember. I'm old.
I think we did.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
two of them have landed in the water. There's just one currently on deck,
Okay.
in a rough shape.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of you are awake. Also, Kader, with all the commotion going on, you've kind of awakened from your deep and good slumber. It's now in the dead of night, about 3-ish o'clock. No sun has come up yet, and the ship is moving steadily further westward. So yeah, what do you guys want to do?
I would like to ask Flesky if he's able to cook harpy.
Yeah, you see,
somewhere- I mean-
you see Flesky kind of making his way slowly back up the stairs, and he kind of like gets his hat back, which he dropped in all the hassle trying to run away, and he puts it back on, kind of like just admires the scene of what has happened.
So yeah, I'll just walk over to him. So you think you can do something with this? Like nuggets or something?
Harpies.
Harpy nuggets.
I've never tasted harpies. I don't really know if I want to Blackwater. I mean, if the captain orders it, sure, I can maybe like take one of this. And he kind of like holds up one of their naked legs, kind of maybe put it on the grill, I assume. But I don't think anybody here has a taste for that is that exquisite.
There's never a wrong day for some culinary exploration, you know.
I believe
I've been on
I
a
sheared off one wing, so if you want to try a harpy wing,
I've been on a
style.
ship once where the crew has turned to cannibalism, but never have I seen anybody eating any harpies.
Right. Yeah, you know what? Never mind. Just throw it off board. If there's nothing interesting on it, just get it off of you.
Alright, he kind of like starts shambling around by his
Oh,
own, trying to
No, I'll help him.
Let me help. Yeah, I'll throw
put
it.
it
Yeah.
over the railing.
Throw it over. and
Alright, so
cast it
you
over.
dump the body with the huge
Yeah.
poof, and it also just sinks back, and you see it disappearing in the darkness.
Does it make sense to hit the sack anymore? Get some more sleep. I don't think we'll be having another attack. If not, I forgot who was on watch. If
It was the last watch with Tiala.
Tiala. Yeah.
Tiala was up, yeah.
So, I'll get another 3 hours worth of sleep if someone doesn't mind. I need
So
my
you
beauty
all-
sleep.
Everybody who needs it, you can take the rest of the night to gather your strength. The next morning comes. The crew is ready at it again. I would again, if Frion is still taking the helm, looking out for where Tiala is after Tiala changes into her shark form, if she does so. If she chooses
That
to do
worked
so.
quite well last time, though.
All right. So then, Tiala, you give me a perception roll.
Yeah, I think so too.
You as well, Frion, and Blackwater, you give me a yeah, what did we say? I think it was it a perception roll with your proficiency bonus, since you have the water vehicle proficiency, I believe.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you're the one screaming down the orders to the crew below deck that are currently just rowing, while Branwolf is trying to like hammer and pound a rhythm for all of them to keep moving forward. Getting creative downstairs. So yeah, Tiala, what do you have?
I rolled a 21.
A 21, okay. Rion?
23.
23, alright. And Blackwater?
11.
11. Rightio. So the day passes. You push and push since you've got an early start on this together with the crew. You kind of make your way further northwest, and you also now get the sense the crew kind of conveys that the pull which they were all feeling is now slowly subsiding. So you think, and also Fudge kind of says, think we managed to get most of Lagertha's descent behind us. And
Beautiful.
with that, you also, as the day ends, you see the last bits and pieces of sharp rocks that go past you, and you've now officially made it through the Kirin Reef. Unharmed so far, at least the ship itself.
Wasn't there some damage on the ship during the Harpy battle?
I think there was something from the Eldritch Blasts, some impact.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't
kind
recall anything like that.
But it was just
I can
decor damage.
get my tools.
in
I'll
that
get my
case.
shipwright's tools and tinker a little bit and see what I can.
True.
All
right.
I have my shipwright's tools and I can do repairs and things like that. Yeah. So.
I can
I
help
don't
you.
Yeah, I think
Mending.
definitely with the help of mending, you're able to like get all of the decorational damage done, the visual things, and you definitely have a great looking ship so far. There never was a battle. Even the crew was able to scrub off the last of the Harpy blood. And after another 4 days of travel, uneventful so far.
I would like to do something during those.
Anything you want to do during the last few days on sea.
We do have the dragon carcass on board, correct?
You brought the head.
The head's up front.
That's it.
I got the head up front. I nailed it to the front.
And you already like cut off a bunch of things. You got some claws, some scales from the whole carcass, because the carcass itself would be like too heavy to move.
Did we get any bones?
And horns, I think you got.
Horns.
I thought we got like a bunch of claws and stuff like that.
Horns, claws, scales, everything. Which you can.
Well, did anybody write that stuff down?
Yes, I did.
I
Give me a
did
second.
too. Let me see. What did I write
I think
down?
you got 2 or even 3. No, I think 2.
I have
horns.
100 yellow dragon scales, 6 dragon claws, 6 dragon bones, like shards of bones, and 2 dragon somethings.
I think it was horns. There definitely
think
was
that's it.
some
Yeah,
horns in there as well.
Yeah, because it had a lot of horns on the side, and so we were able to take horns.
Yeah.
Would it be possible to make a flute out of one of the dragon bones?
I would say so with the right tools, and I would also say that give me a...
I have mason tools. I don't know if I can use those for that.
I can give you my shipwright.
give me a sleight of hand check. In your case. 12.
Yeah.
Sitting down with both your masonry tools in front of you, and also Brown Wolf putting down his shipwright tools and offering his help. You kind of like try around a little bit, try carving the bone. You notice like the bones themselves, they are very hard to actually carve and don't really give to knives or any other tools you're using. However, you are able to kind of like drill in bits and pieces and chip away at it, and you start to kind of make this flute-like form, but it's not perfect yet, and you're still missing like the hollow chamber in the middle, and you think that with the tools currently at your disposal, it's like you're not going to be able to finish it off, but maybe if you take this to some carpenter perhaps, or somebody who knows his way around, maybe like a taxidermist or something, a professional one, who has the right tools and who has experience with dragon bones as well, he might be able to fashion something in that regard.
Because usually I thought dragon bones are like bird bones. I thought they would be hollow, so that you could hollow them out easy, but okay.
Well,
we tried.
For the last stretch between Kirin Reef and Dreadparish Isle, I would like to ask a bunch of the crewmates for help in crafting some sort of flag that has the traditionalist emblem on it.
All right. Yeah, sure. Give me a persuasion roll with advantage in your case.
Can I commission the first mate to persuade for me? Is that a possibility?
Yeah, I mean, sure. He can help you, and you can like both roll single-handedly for yourselves.
Hey, Kadeo, can you help me, convince people to do this flag? Help me.
I'll attempt to. Yeah. There we go.
So no proficiency or no advantage.
Yeah, just roll straight for persuasion.
-2. Goddammit. 15.
14.
All right. Easy enough. Some of them kind of like say, yeah, it's not the first time. And they kind of get some stuff together. You see two of them that are kind of like starting to tear up bits and pieces of the old like rebellion flag that was on there before, and they kind of like put together other bits and pieces. 1 second. There we go. And they kind of like come together, and you see this nice kind of like white flag with the blue silverish fish that is drawn on by one of the crewmates, a younger girl who seems to be very keen with a brush, which you have on board, and she kind of like draws the fish with the kind of like silverish sun behind it, which is reminiscent of the traditionalist emblem. And you, easy enough, have a nice little flag which you're able to display. You intend on hoisting it?
At the very end, as soon as we see land, basically.
All right.
I'd like to ask the captain if he wants to give our trusty ship, which has weathered the seas and has been our trusty friend and haven for many weeks now, a different name, because I think when we more or less borrowed it, it wasn't it not the Concorde. What is it? It had
the Endurance.
The Endurance. Yeah. I mean, are we going to keep it the Endurance, or would we like to call it Harpy's Death or whatever? A different name. Or
that's a good point, but I think we should decide that in a more democratic way, maybe.
Yeah, sure.
Get everyone together and
sure. But I was just wondering, because since we're decorating it, we could maybe we can see if the Endurance, if it's painted on the side or if it's bronze lettering, we can move it around.
No, you see on the side of the ship, it's kind of like a mixture between you see like the name, the Endurance, that was like carved on both sides and like shadowed with a bunch of paint.
Okay, so we could probably either easily overpaint that or fill that in, and with my shipwright's tools we could probably change the name. But yeah,
Endurance.
Just the dance.
Dance. Just black out everything else.
Just black everything. It's called a dance. Or doer. The doer.
Yeah, I don't know. Does anyone else have any interesting ideas for this?
At the same time, you see Fudge kind of leaning in towards you, Blackwater, and saying, might I throw in a word, since you're all in a very creative mood, it seems.
Sure.
Usually once we dock on Saltmarsh, we will have to see the local shipwright there, and every ship goes through the process of some paperwork, and usually a crew has to put down its name. I don't think we've decided on any kind of authority name. Sometimes the captain just puts down his last name. Other times folk tend to come up with something different.
So basically,
But I do not want
the crew's
to
name.
impose.
No.
It's just something you might want to think about before we dock.
Flesky's Misfits.
I would say let's just get creative
Yeah.
with it. 'Cause screw it. I mean, we haven't found a name for our like adventuring group yet. Even though you guys have been like stumbling around for I don't know how long. So might as well just come up with something now, no?
Why do we need a name?
Well, at the very least, the ship needs a name, okay? Any ideas?
None decent.
Anything?
For sale, but SAIL.
For sale?
For sale, SAIL. The for sale.
Yeah, it's valid, sure. But for the love of God, please give me something else. Anything, goddammit, please.
Harpy's End. Maybe some with the Harpy's End, Harpy's Bane.
You see
Harpy's
kind
End.
of like Flesky traipsing around as well. Flesky's crew. Flesky's
Misfits.
band. Flesky. Oh, it definitely should be something of that tells of your maybe past deeds and endeavors, you see.
The Indecision.
The Indecision is
That's a
good.
good ship name. A very good ship name.
Indecision. Yeah.
The Indecision and the Undecided. That's it. I mean, that's gotta be it. Come on.
The Indecision. I vote for the
I'll
Indecision.
give you that, Blackwater. The Indecision has a very nice ring to it. They shall fear the ship's colors when they see us roaming around the seas. It will be like, oh no, the Indecision. They are coming. The crew of the Indecision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Anyone against that? I mean,
no, I like it.
considering how decided we are.
Yeah.
They told
That's it.
tales of an whole armada of the Scarlet Brotherhood, and suddenly on the horizon they recognized the
Indecision.
colors of the Indecision. Yes, I kind of like it.
I like that. Yeah.
I might be able to plant a few seeds and stories here and there
Good.
once we
stop
get
with
back
Dreadparish Isle.
on. Once we
Yeah.
get back on land, that is.
Yeah. Once
It's official?
I'd love to once we leave Dreadparish Isle and we have all the official thing. I wouldn't mind hoisting a pirate's flag. You know, pirate's life for me.
Why not?
Yeah, with a dragon skull.
I mean, we have
a
some
dragon
Scarlet,
skull and bones.
Yeah, we have some Scarlet
nice.
Brotherhood to hunt, so
Yeah.
why not?
Why not? And that's a damn good start.
Yeah.
Dragon skull and bones.
Dragon skull and bones.
I guess. Yeah, I guess it's decided then. The Indecision.
Indecision. I like it. I vote
Nice.
Hey!
Is it decided?
Unfortunately, yes.
I don't know if it's
Well,
if
it's
it's put
better
to
than
a
anything
vote.
I
The
can think
entire
of.
episode. Just one loop. We're caught in the loop now.
The entire episode is giving a name to the fucking ship.
Sit tight,
It wouldn't
guys.
surprise me.
Wouldn't be the first.
Oh god, yeah, okay, it's official. That's it. That's gonna be it.
Wow.
All right.
And the crew needs a name as well?
Well, usually it's the name the captain has to put down and wants to be addressed as in the current port. And I mean, it's usually something the sailors like to boast about, throwing out their crew's name, or if they're hired by other captains along the way, you know.
So we could name the crew the Undecided as well. That would work, maybe. Fits the theme.
does fit the theme.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, same here.
We're kind of grossly out of character making all these decisions. What the hell's going on?
Something wrong, yeah.
Yeah, really.
Just watch us being the most decided after naming ourselves.
Why?
that.
I've seen Freon standing in the back just shaking his head for half an hour. Nothing out of character about that. Yeah.
True.
Right, that's it. Done.
The Indecision and the Undecided.
Anything else you want to take care of last few days before you hit shore?
Blackwater, you were talking about that Scarlet Brotherhood?
Yeah.
You mentioned that a few times now. What is that?
Yeah, exactly.
It's oh man, it's this terrible pirate group. It's just this they've been terrorizing Dreadparish Isle for I don't even know how long. I just remember like smuggling a bunch of stuff and trying to like sabotage their actions and anything that they would try to do, basically. It's at the core, they're a pirate group. It wouldn't surprise me if they're somehow related to the Loyalists or the Empire somehow. But over at Dreadparish Isle, we just absolutely hate them. Like, just the worst.
Does Dreadparish
That's why
Isle,
we should, like, destroy a few.
Yeah, does Dreadparish Isle have something like a type of government of some kind? Is there a governor or a mayor or somebody? Yes? Because then why not let us get... all we need is a letter of marque from them, and then we can capture and kill all, like real pirates, with a letter of marque allowing us to... We're doing it all for Dreadparish Isle. Just an idea. If you want to continue on as pirates.
As the DM, I can chime in. The Dreadparish Isle itself is like does not have a government or some sort of hold on it. There are a few towns which Blackwater, mainly being Saltmarsh. There's another town further inland called Burl, and further down south there's Seaton. And you could basically see the island itself as its own little continent, but it's just made up out of these different smaller, like on the shore, it's mostly only Saltmarsh, which is a big fisher town, rich in fish trade, going to and from Dreadparish Isle. But for the past couple of decades now already, the Loyalists, being those that are keen to the Rebellion Empire, the Crown and the Hooded King, he has sent like a couple of envoys down there and has a small little militaristic force that is usually that enforces the law mostly in towns like Saltmarsh and other towns like Burl and Seaton. But it's mostly people hold to their own. Blackwater, there's a council which keeps things running in Saltmarsh, made up of different interest parties, the Loyalists being one, the Traditionalists being the other. All of them have their issues with the Scarlet Brotherhood, these kind of pirates that are ransacking and attacking the trade routes between Revelia and Dreadparish Isle. And other than that, especially going further inland, it's very like more and more a kind of like no man's land. A few towns and settlements here and there have their own hierarchy, their own little enforcements. And the Rebellion Empire is trying to get some sort of like foothold and order in this. It's a very like kind of frontier region, a very frontier town as well, Saltmarsh.
That
bit of
was-
a Wild West
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean,
Yeah.
just an idea to keep in the back of our minds. I mean, if we're gonna go start, first the idea is get to the island. Then everybody wants to get to the island. Freon has his reasons for getting to the island. I just want to go out and kill things. So, so I'm ready to get to the island. But just in the back of our minds, why not? I mean, why not fight against the
one's-
Scarlet Brotherhood? You know?
Yeah, no one's going to be against it, so I don't think we
Yeah.
need to
No.
be official in that regard.
Yeah.
Like, I think we can just
Okay.
chop some heads.
Yeah. So, we've all done our little jobs and rested, and where are we now?
All right. So anything else, or was that it? You guys want to do Yala something or Kadir? Nothing. All right. Then after almost a total of 4 weeks on sea, something around that time frame, as the sun is slowly setting behind you, in front of you, on the horizon, you do see coming up shape of land on the horizon. This little dot that gets bigger and bigger, and you see the sun going down. About between 9 and 10 on that day, you also you get this kind of, even though the sun is going down, you get this energy from the crew just waiting to finally dock and have some good time off of the boat, some shore leave. And they kind of make the ship ready and everything, and you now see this, while you can't see the landmass anymore, there is this thick fog that is slowly also rising, kind of enveloping you and enveloping most of the landmass itself. But you do see this little glint, which you recognize familiarly as Saltmarsh Blackwater. And coming closer, you do now make your way towards, hang on a second here, make your way towards these lights. You do see the glints that are giving off of the the port town itself, having through this fog, giving this kind of like yellowish greenish sheen to everything. You come closer and you now see different bits and pieces of small ports that also come into view, and you see that most of this, like the front of the town, which is not really enveloped too much in this fog that goes up, you see that it's made up of all of these small little walkways of wooden boards and beams here and there, and it's like there's no structure. This is nothing compared to Horgrim's Gate, where you've seen proper docks and big kind of like nice masonry where you would dock your ship. But here you see a pier here and there, you see little rowboats, you see bigger fisher boats here and there. The Endurance kind of blends in very nicely, since that is like the sailing ship you have is kind of like the same size of most of the fisher boats that are docked here. And with this kind of like eerie greenish glow giving off from the lanterns and some people walking around carrying torches, and you having the now slowly the moon also rising over the town of Saltmarsh, over this port. The Indecision, not the Endurance, the Indecision makes her way slowly towards one of the ports, and you see Fudge also kind of like, it's about damn time. And he kind of like puts the anchor down again. You see there's a few deckhands already that kind of like throw some rope onto the ship, Some of the crew getting it and slowly pulling the ship closer to the little walkways and planks. You hear this as it kind of like crashes against them, and the ship is now in the process of being tied down. And you see there's like this plank that is being set up on one of the Indecision sides. There's the small little fella, another halfling you see with a scruffy grayish looking like sideburns off to the side, clean shaven. The rest, he has like a little three-pointed hat on top and a little set of spectacles and what seems to be like a bunch of documents he holds. And he kind of like, without looking up, standing just at the end of the little gangplank coming down from the ship, just kind of like shouts up, "All right, where's the captain of this here vessel?"
Right here.
I would need you and also your officers to follow me along to the shipwrights hall, please.
Go.
Yep.
Yeah,
There we go.
I brush my shirt off and I follow Blackwater.
All right.
I follow the
So
first
you
mate.
make your way.
Was Bozeman.
You make your way to. Oh, where is it? Hang on. There we go. You follow this little person who you now see. He's like taking one of these little green yellowish kind of lanterns and starts just skipping along, just shouting out, "Please follow me! Do not get lost!" And kind of like makes his way along one of the planks. You kind of like look around and Fudge kind of just says, "You go along, Captain. I'll see that everything here is taken care of."
Sounds good.
And you make your way. You follow this little halfling for around 10 minutes. The first thing, like walking through this like mist enveloped these foggy docks, the immediate smell of fish, like rotting fish, also like smells hits your nose. For you, Blackwater, the immediate nostalgic smell of home that goes through your mind. Finally, after such a long time away from home, being back here, the rest of you kind of like, you haven't like smelled that much fish before, since even the port towns in the Empire, they weren't like that big in dealing fish. But this is pretty different here. You see here and there are like barrels of fish that are currently being either partly, it's really cold since the fog hits. There's like no ice or anything, but the barrels are just like kept outside here off to the ships. There's a bunch of cargo. You see big kind of like mechanisms that look like cranes, probably used to like load and unload fishing boats. You see one of them, as you walk along, is currently in the process of having this huge net full of fish, and it's kind of like dropping on you as you go further along, and make your way. And you come to this little well-lit building off to the side, and says, and the little halfling kind of like steps to the side and says, "This way, please. There will be another foreman inside who will take care of your docking fees." And he kind of like holds out his hand.
Right. I go in.
Kind of holds his hand to Kader.
I put a gold
No
piece in
movement.
it. I put a gold piece in it.
"Thank you, good sir." He pockets it in this little side pocket.
You guys are so
and
cheap.
of like he makes a little note. You
I'm an
see
alcoholic,
on the,
dude.
We're pirates, man.
on the note he's carrying, and he darts back off past Tiala and Frion as well. You make your way inside, and there's this small little, like, looks to be a little foyer, kind of. Looks a little at the first, like looking at this room, it kind of looks like very. I don't know what's the English word for like prunk. Like
Prunk?
very.
Well, is it very luxurious or?
Yeah, it looks kind of like luxurious, but on second look, you see that it's like anything that's gold is just paint, and it's like coming off of stuff. You see like wood, wooden like framed paintings and stuff that are like long, already like moldy and rotten. And there's like this big little desk where you see another halfling sitting there currently. He has a wine glass to his right, and he's currently noting down some stuff. And he then looks up over, also wearing a set of spectacles as you come in. Yes, hello. Welcome to Saltmarsh. Your name, please?
Alton Blackbrew.
Blackbrew. Oh, say, are you Elaine's boy?
Maybe. Who are you?
Well, my name is Fig Smorts.
Jeez.
And
how do you write that?
It's a FIGSMORTZ. Fig Smorts.
Is it one
No,
name
it's
only?
Fig and then Smorts.
Oh man.
You may call me Mr. Smorts. Mr. Blackbrew. So, what brings you here then? Who are these fine young gentlemen and the lady in the back?
Just a bunch of friends decided to visit family again, see how Ma and Pa are doing. You know, the usual.
Ah, so it's a family visit then? So it won't be work you're here, but leisure, I assume, then?
Define work?
I see. Work it is. And he puts down work. He then kind of like looks over the rest of you. So, it seems if my colleague has brought you here, you've docked a ship?
Correct.
Okay, I would need the name of the ship and the crew for our archives.
The name of the ship would be what was it?
Indecision.
Indecision. That's sorry. I'm sorry. And the name of the crew would be the Undecided.
I'm sorry. Usually they bring the captain here to give me this information. Who's the captain of this vessel?
You've already spoke to him.
I mean, Mr. Smorts, are you not taking me seriously here?
Oh, I'm taking you just seriously enough, Mr. Blackbrew. All right, so Blackbrew of the Indecision, you were saying?
Mm-hmm.
All right, and the crew's name was the Undecided, apparently.
Aye.
All right, well, docking on this here port, as you very well know, will be, how long are you planning to stay, or is that undecided as well?
How much does a stay cost?
I'll put
over how
down
much time?
the maximum fee for the indefinite stay then. That would be 100 gold pieces.
I'll take 100 gold pieces and smack it on the table.
Alright, the Port of Saltmarsh thanks you. Mr. Blackbrew, welcome home. And, well, you do know your way around town, I assume.
Yes, of course. Thank you, Mr. Smorts.
A very pleasant evening to all of you.
Thanks,
The
Smorts.
same.
Likewise.
And he kind of like buries himself back into his notes as you walk outside. All right, so standing outside the mariner's office, taking in the salty, briny, fishy smell of Saltmarsh, and feeling the dampness, sort of like starting to crawl up your skin through your clothes. What are you doing next?
We should get a place to stay, a place to warm up, and
Crash at my place.
if we
You've
want
got
to,
family here, right?
that's true.
Yeah.
Then
I come from here.
lead the way.
Let's visit them.
Yeah,
I'm
lead
sure
the
we
way.
want to see them. Right.
Before that, I'd love to go through the inn first, just to pay for the accommodation of the remaining crew, just at least for like 2 or 3 nights.
Okay.
The inn sounds good to me.
Yeah.
And then we will head home. Mom's famous chicken nuggets.
Is
Get to try them finally.
yeah the
Harpy nuggets.
what did forget his name again? Not the first mate, but our the tortoise Fudge.
Quartermaster?
Quartermaster
Fudge,
Fudge. He came along too, right? He's so
Yeah,
he'll be able.
he's still at the ship.
He'll be able. So he's at the ship.
Yeah,
He
he's
didn't
at the
come-
ship. Yeah, no,
Okay.
he said you go on ahead because he's going to take care of tying
Okay,
the ship
yeah.
down and everything.
Because Fudge will probably have to relate then to the rest where their quarters are and everything. So if we get an inn for everybody, that Fudge can take care of the rest.
We can just like tell the innkeep to like inform this
Yeah.
very obvious crew, undecided crew that they have like 2 nights of stay already
Yeah.
paid for.
Okay.
Yeah, as you're saying this, you like see coming, brushing along you, a weird assortment of locals. There are halflings you see running around, kind of like just making their way quick as they are through the night streets. You see turtles. You see normal humans. You see dwarves also here and there. Not very like present, but there's still. It's either little, very hairy men or certainly dwarves.
Little hairy women.
But yeah,
and
you
little
see-
hairy women.
You see a bunch of people making their way, even though it is like slowly starting to enter nighttime. You get the sense that Saltmarsh right now is just starting to unwind. Like sailors and fishers that have made their catch of the day are now starting to like seek the nearest inn, spend their money. You see the streets are still busy as you would probably expect them to be only during the day in any other town you were used to in the Empire.
I hold on tightly to my bag.
Okay.
Hi.
Ah,
All right, so if you're making your way towards like the Blackbird residence, you do come like straight. You know that on the way there's this little inn called the Snapping Line, which you could stop by if you would want that, or continue on directly to your family's house.
No, we probably should. Yeah. What do you say,
Yeah,
Cap?
I just yeah, exactly. I'll just like stop by quickly, leave some money, and reserve some rooms, basically.
All right. So you make your way. You see on the way to the Snapping Line, there's like not a commotion, but a few like people standing in front of what looks to be like a notice board on the way there near the entrance of the inn. Kind of like just some whispers going about and people talking to each other in front of the board.
Wanted, Blackwater.
Oh god.
Yeah, do we see?
I mean, I can't see anything. I'm assuming like my vision is blocked.
Well, I'll, being the biggest of the lot, I kind of peer over the group of probably smaller people, and what do I see? Can I read the notice or what they're looking at?
I mean, what you do see, there's like a big map of Saltmarsh itself, and a few little notes, and especially there's one piece of parchment that looks a little bit newer than the rest, and that's probably where you see that people are like pointing towards it and whispering to each other, but it's like you would need to get up close to properly like read it.
Well, that's what I'll do. You are here. Big red dot on the map. Tourist station. Dreadparish tourist office.
All right, so you make your way over there.
I'll make way over and have a see what everybody's looking at.
Let me get you guys over to the Saltmarsh map.
Oh,
I hide behind Tiala's robe in case it is my face.
You don't see any kind of like face or anything. You do see what looks to be like the odd little notes, bits and pieces of people that are looking for stuff. You see like people asking for what seems to be like ingredients for little remedies or things, or somebody that has lost his dog. You see a warning on one of the little notes, warning about the hool fever, and that cases of the hool fever have been increasing, and that anybody who's come down with symptoms of rashes or also high temperatures should seek medical help immediately at their nearest doctor of convenience. And you do see the big note where people have been pointing towards and are now moving away since you kind of like just shrugged past them. You see a note that is like made of a very fine quality parchment with little filigree lines on the sides decorating it, and it says something about Anders Solmore, who is inviting any local adventure troops and brave folk to dinner at his local estate this evening, or also the evening on the day afterwards. And he's interested in seeing the activity in the nearby haunted house taken care of once and for all. That is what the note says.
Okay.
Have you heard of this haunted house, Blackwater?
Is it new to me?
It's not new to you. Hang on one second.
And do you know if this Anders Solmore? Can he be trusted?
So give me a history check, Blackwater.
Oh, hell yeah. That's a 13.
13. You know that there's been a little bit north of Saltmarsh into the area that's bordering on the Hool Marshes. There's like this cliff, and I mean the cliff is basically these like cliff lands on the side are kind of like going along the shoreline, and that tumbling down into the Hool Marshes themselves. But on one of these cliffs, there's an old house that once apparently belonged to some old alchemist who did different things. People tell of different things. Some tell he's been like working on weird arcane projects. Other people said that he's been kidnapping and torturing folk. Others said he's been just some hermit that lived up there and just died. But it's like a nice little tale that people usually tell to keep the kids from venturing too far in that area. And you also do know that in your youth there have been a few other stout halflings that usually did like a kind of like a test of bravery to see how close they would get to the house and how far they would venture into the Hool Marshes to getting maybe a glimpse, but nobody's ever gone inside, has made it that far. Most of them just like get hit by fear before they get too close.
So it's a tourist attraction.
For the local folk, yeah. It's stuff like if anybody asks, oh yeah, you gotta check out the haunted house.
Yeah, exactly, like leave a tip or something like what the hell.
Yeah.
Alright.
But that's all
That's
you know.
what it is.
You don't know of any kind of like activity or whatever it said in the note. That's all you know of a haunted house which is near Saltmarsh.
I forward all of that information to the crew.
Okay. Well, before we start looking into any invitations to dinner for adventurers and so forth, we probably should look on first, get the crew settled down, then have a look to your folks, and then we can still, I guess, go by. I kind of side over to Freon, who's standing on the side, twirling his beard, and just kind of person to person. You wanted to come to Dreadparish Isle. It was one of your main things. Do you have a specific interest, or do we have to? Because I said I would help you in your adventure. Do we have to go somewhere special, or is at the moment Saltmarsh okay?
No, I need to go to the Harrod Peaks.
Oh, okay. Okay.
They're
good.
south of here, as far as I know.
Okay, good. Okay.
We could ask someone at the end about them, maybe.
Yeah.
Don't know.
No,
Well,
because
you told me about it.
Yeah, but you know, I wasn't really interested in it too much, so whatever I told you was probably halfway fantasized or just plain wrong.
So you lied to me.
No,
You embellished the truth.
that's it. Thank you.
I see. Noted.
Hey, I like to make Saltmarsh and just Dreadparish Isle as nice of a place as I can verbally.
Was the story
may have
about your
noticed.
sister made up as well?
Is there any embellishment in that?
I don't know.
I mean, it's no, it's as tragic as a story as it gets. No, it is real. Unfortunately.
okay. I was just wondering because before we all met up in the beginning.
You can always insight check him for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bring it.
You want to do that.
No,
Yeah,
way before.
I want to do that.
Yeah, before we met up with Blackwater, we wanted to go to Dreadparish Isle, and I told Freon I would accompany him as extra muscle. So, and this was long before we even knew that you're from this.
20.
20. So, Blackwater, are you attempting to deceive Freon?
About what specifically?
Well, just in general, or are you telling the truth?
Well, I told the truth about embellishing the stories of Dreadparish Isle, and I told the truth about my sister.
There you go. So he seems to be very truthful about both of these things.
I'm sorry. Kind of.
But did we ever find out why Blackwater wanted to come, or he just wants to visit his family? I mean, you also have a reason for coming. I mean, I'm just muscle. I'm just traipsing along as the meat shield, as extra muscle. But I mean, I still want to know, what I'm getting into. We made it now. What are we gonna do?
I told Freon last session about it,
Yeah.
basically. That's all you're getting from me, so if he wants to share, then
I don't
That's his
care.
thing.
I trust Freon. I've been fighting along his side long enough, and he's always been very secretive with his knowledge, but he's never lied to me. So wherever you go, I'll follow him. My sword is yours.
All right.
So
So,
should we
are
go
you guys heading inside the tavern, the Snapping Line, or?
Yeah, we have to, something. We have to
All
get
right.
some.
So you make your way inside immediately. Like the rush of voices hits you. There's like a keg suddenly like smashed next to you on the wall. Somebody throwing it around. There's like drunken laughter, some shouting going on. You see there's like one more table that is kind of free, but the rest are like full of sailors, fishermen. They're big like turtle figures sitting around, bulky sailors with tattoos on their arms, some with a toothless grin, others people you see scars, you see limbs missing, you see rugged folk sitting in this tavern. And going inside, you also immediately get it's like a different kind of stench, but it's still very fishy. Like this kind of fish is just this smell is like deep within the walls of these buildings as well. Going inside, you see this human kind of blonde tied back hair barmaid, rather sleek in her posture, skinny, who's kind of just like rushing around between tables behind the counter, going back to an area where you assume would be the kitchen. You see on one of the walls, in a very greatly depicted design of a very intricate like wood carving, you actually see a big map of Dreadparish Isle as a whole that is etched into one of this building's walls in a very like nice artistic way. You do see then kind of making her way to the bar, the young woman looking up. Hello, I'm Hannah. Is there anything I can do for you? Please be quick about it, or if you still need to get seated, that's fine with me. I will be with you in a second. And she rushes off again.
Well, let's have a sip now.
Yeah. Short question to the DM. Dreadparish Isle.
Yes.
I thought first it was just a halflings isle, or that only halflings were here. But so this is a mix. It's a mixed cultures, all like you said. So this is not just halflings live here. Because
no,
I thought
you see a bunch of halflings running around, but you see just as much like humans around, and definitely
I misunderstood that because I thought that Blackwater came from there. I thought it was like an island of halflings.
He is halfling.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
From here.
Okay.
Can I make a sketch of that map that's on the wall, especially with the special attention to the southern part and the Harrowed Peaks?
Sure.
I was about to say the same thing.
Make either your choice, sleight of hand or performance check, or just a general dexterity check for that matter.
Can I help?
Sketch it down. Yeah, sure. You can help in, and then you can roll with advantage on that. If you want to note down the important bits and pieces of what you see on this carving.
What was it? Dexterity?
Yeah, just dexterity in general.
Then it's a 14.
14? Okay, even with advantage, right?
Yes.
Alright. Easy enough, you get like the most prominent features. You mark down the island's shape. You pay a special attention to the lower southern part of it, with the Herald Peaks being both of these large collections of really barren kind of mountains, and in between this thick patch of just endless seeming wood called the Dreadwood. Then both the whole marshes are a very large stretch of swamp and marsh that go on to the north of Saltmarsh. There's the old coast road, which leads inward towards the town of Burl, and also southward along the rugged coast towards another town called Seaton. And on the northwestern area, the northwestern stretch of land of Dreadparish Isle, there's a place called the Drowned Forest. And you see the painting is very reminiscent of all these gnarled trees and the sort of like dead wood that is completely like eaten away by stretches of small little water bodies that go through it. And in the middle there is the so-called Ghost Lake with a single isle in the middle of the lake called the Isle of the Abbey.
Good sketching.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Can I ask you, why are you looking for these Harrowed Peaks specifically? Like, is there anything going on there?
The personal interest, yes.
Personal interest in which you need some help with, or is that like just an individual venture you would like to go on, or?
I don't know if I need any help. If you want to come along, I'm fine with that, but you don't need to if you don't want to.
I've got enough stuff to do here.
While you're talking, there's like this huge burly turtle kind of like moving in between you. Excuse me? And kind of like coming past you and getting something from behind the bar, one of the kegs standing there, and kind of like turns around, kind of like pushes into Freon and sorry about that, little man, and kind of like makes his way back to another table on the other side of the room.
Did he just say little man?
Yep.
It's probably the innkeeper. Yeah. And you are a little man. Come too. He's a big turtle. I don't think he meant it as an insult.
Eldritch blast.
Sounded like one.
But it could be an innkeeper. We're gonna have to order some rooms here.
At this point, the innkeeper Hannah comes back. You see more and more of her hair just kind of like flying around the place out of her ponytail. All right, I'm so sorry about the wait. So, what can I bring you people? Are you looking for drinks, room, food, rumors, anything?
All of the above.
All of the above.
Well,
just to get it squared off, I would like to reserve 10 of your best rooms for 2 nights for my beautiful crew.
Oh, 10. Okay. And she kind of like puts out this little black book. 10. Well, we've got the Mr. Anderson. Yeah. Well, I have 5 rooms left on the top floor, but we're pretty booked as of now.
All right. I'm sure you could be able to find another 5 somewhere, though. And I try to like just shake my wallet.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Shake your money maker.
God damn it, Kader, you should be the one doing this. You're better at this shit.
You've got a bigger wallet.
Oh god. It's a natural 1.
A natural 1.
Oh god, why?
The purse opens and everything spills out.
That's
a second.
Oh god, please.
All right.
Yeah.
So you kind of like shake the purse around, and she looks at you, and you see her kind of like a grin coming. But the rest of you notice that about 10 other pairs of eyes have like looked around at the shaking and the noise of coins being shaken around, and some of the talks and conversations stop as they look around, and now it's currently all eyes on Blackwater.
I smash the coin purse and just yell, "A round of ale for everyone!"
Hey! You hear these shouts going on, and people like there's another like small little tankard flying through the room, and shouts going off, and the music picks up again.
Kader rushes to the bar and orders the strongest drink.
Yeah, she kind of looks at you and gives you this Oh, fuck you. Look, like just starting, she's kind of like, it's 5 rooms, that's all I have, and she rushes off, starting to take orders from just people that are now, all of you are being kind of like pushed in, partly into the wooden bar itself, the counter.
Put it this way, 5 rooms, if they bunk together, why not? Two in a room, that should work out. I mean, they've been on a ship for weeks.
Yeah, I guess
they can share a room.
True.
For Christ's sake. Yeah.
Who do I give the gold to? Because I think we can just like head out. I think it's a bit too much chaos at the moment here.
Yeah, she's only give the gold to me.
All right. I empty my wallet.
And she takes the whole bag itself. Basically, it'll put you back if you give a round of everybody and the rooms as well. It's gonna be probably around 10 gold for everything.
I'm leaving 54 gold in total. I'm emptying the purse because screw it.
She kind of like she takes it and says, "Your name was again, sir?" And her eyes just like she kind of like leans in.
Your future husband.
A big look with her dreamy big eyes.
Fritz.
Mr. Fritz. I hope we will see you again soon at the snapping line, Mr. Fritz. Thank you for your patronage. And she rushes around, starting to get drinks ready.
Oh, but before I leave, can I go get her attention? And she mentioned rumors, so I just want to ask her if she knows anything about Anders Solmor and also about this supposed haunted house.
All right. She kind of says like, I'm currently too busy about rumor stuff. Just go ask the folk sitting around here. They all have plenty of stories to tell. And then darts off again.
So who do I see in this room? What kind of clientele we got?
The first one you do see was the one big turtle that pushed beside Blackwater and Frion. There's also a group of 3 little halflings sitting nearby. And other than that, it's just a bunch of different shapes and sizes of fishermen and sailors.
Okay, I'll go to the halflings.
Pick somebody who's really drunk.
Yeah, the first one you see, like, being really drunk seems to be the big turtle, which you saw. He kind of gave off a drunk vibe.
Okay, I'll speak to the turtle and ask him if he knows anything about Anders Solmor.
Alright. Kind of as you walk up to him, kind of like musters you a bit, burping upon his breath, saying, "Yeah, I've heard of Solomor, or whatever his name was. What do you want to know?"
Who is he? Can he be trusted? I've seen an advertisement of his regarding the haunted house. I just want to know more, really. I'm curious about him.
An advertisement, you say? Well, Anders is one of the council members, so you best be careful when making any shenanigans with him. He's a very good kid, that Anders.
So he holds a bit of power in this town, right? A bit of influence.
Yeah, he's on the council.
And he's good? You trust him? You trust him as a councillor?
Well, I trust all of our council members to do the best in Saltmarsh's interest. But, it always depends on who you ask. So, where are you from? Asking all these questions and stuff.
No, came here. The wind blew me here. Just stumbled across this place.
Well, I blew some wind this morning, but that's still.
That makes 2 of us, buddy. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that! And he kind of like with his still full tankard just clinks yours as well.
Oh man.
Nice, good old Turtle. This guy's awesome.
So, who's your merry folk there with you?
Well, let me introduce you. Hey guys, there's a friendly Turtle here. He's got many things in common, it seems, you know.
My name's Eirik.
Eirik.
Eirik with an I.
Eirik with an eye. Mr. Eirik with an eye. Oh man.
So, presumably, you're not from here, no?
Oh, I'm from here, born and bred in Saltmarsh. But it seems you're a very talkative bunch. So,
what do you know about this haunted house then, Eirik? Just a fool's play? Rumors?
Well, make a persuasion roll.
Okie dokie.
Probably buy him a beer. He'll be more persuaded than any roll you can do.
15. Get Leroy and Jenkins out. That's some persuasion.
No, he's nice turtle. I like turtles.
He kind of like empties his tankard in one swig and puts it back on the table and says, "Well, the haunted house, you see. I've never been there, but I've heard some crazy shit going on up there. It's apparently been empty for 20 or so years. And, I've heard some talk. Some really interested talk on really interested folk. But you know, talk ain't free. Talk's something everybody can do. And my talk is my craft." And he kind of like shoves the empty tanker towards you, Kadir.
Pleasure, Eirik. With pleasure. So I come back. I give him 2 of the strongest drinks this place has to offer.
That'll put you back
drink
for
2 of them myself.
Silver. Drink both of them yourselves?
2 of them for me, 2 of them for him.
Oh, okay.
I drink mine.
Then
right
that'll put you back 8 silver then.
8 silver's out the pocket, no problem.
Now, see, I knew when you sat down here that you talked the talk as well. Well, I've heard some folks saying that there's some treasure that lies within, hidden away in the walls by the former owner. Others have told tales of screams and whispers heard throughout the walls at night whenever they get too close. You know, some of those brave little halfling folk doing their tests of bravery and whatnot. But it is also said that, at least I've heard some of the sailors tell that here around the area, there was a young messenger who apparently escaped the clutches of this alchemist that lived there all these years ago. And he told folk about the horrors he had seen in that house. He told of a vast library with tomes full of unknown stuff. I mean, I can't read, but it don't bother me too much, you see. Apparently it was the alchemist's private collection.
Did he say horrors or whores?
Horrors!
Horrors!
We have enough here in Saltmarsh. You can go.
I thought he taught all the stories about the horrors you see in there.
Yeah, we've been on a ship a long time, guys.
Yeah, a bunch of horrors. Let's go there.
There ain't no whores in that haunted house as far as I know.
Haunted whores.
So gold,
But yeah,
potential
apparently
treasures.
some folk have been telling of weird sounds coming from the place, and also seeing weird lights at night that are coming from there. But I mean, it's just, ghost stories and whatnot.
Located within Saltmarsh, or just?
It's about half a day's journey up towards the whole marshes. I mean, you're probably already entering a couple hours past the northern border of the northern town wall. You're gonna enter the whole marsh, but be careful going up there in the marshes, because people have been coming down with bad cases of the whole fever. And you should also be wary of the Hool folk if you go too far into those dredged swamps.
The Hool folk?
The Hool folk.
Are these referring to the people who've contracted this disease, or is this a specific people?
Now listen, Mr. What was your name again?
Franco. Maxi Franco.
Maxi Franco, alright. Well, it seems you're not from here. Now, if I tell you tidbits about Saltmarsh and stuff and where I'm from, you should do the same, no? It's just common courtesy. I want to know people I talk with.
No.
What do you mean, no?
No. What do you want to know?
Well, I want to know where you're from and what you're doing in this here town of ours.
Oh, I'm from far away, really. My home's been everywhere these past few years. You know how it is, traveling, trying to earn a coin.
Let's see.
I got involved with these friends of mine, and we've just been adventuring since, rather aimlessly on my behalf from now on.
You're not with these dwarves that came here opening up that mine down south, no?
No, I'm not. No miner. No involvement with any dwarves.
And you're not with the loyalists?
No, hell no. The Empire? I don't want any part to do with that.
Well, I mean, on one part, the Empire has kept some of the roads, especially like the old coast road, safe, but...
Yeah, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's right.
They'll protect you for a time and then take the rest.
What has the Empire done for us?
Exactly. What the fuck has the Empire done for us?
The fuck have they done? Cheers to that.
People murmuring in
The
as well
aqueduct.
Drink all
cheering
over
in.
the place.
They built the aqueduct.
So, yeah,
The wine. Oh, the wine, yes. But what has the Empire done for us? The aqueduct.
Fuck the loyalists, man.
What do you say?
well, yeah, the Hool folk are a strange kind of people. People that live in them swamps. People that have been contracting the whole fever over longer stretches of time. People that have been, disfigured and such. And they've just, they usually come and hack down on any stupid wanderers and these adventuring parties trying to make their name going into haunted houses and all that shit instead of doing some honest work around here.
Yep. Good man. Killing for coin. Like I do.
Well, it always depends on who you're killing, sir.
There you go. You pay well, I do well. So we about done here. We still have a lot of things to do, Captain.
Yeah, thanks for the information. Hi, Rick.
Oh, no problem, Mr.
Great talking.
Marco something.
Yeah,
Franco. Maxine Franco.
It's been a
Maxi Franco.
Maxi.
pleasure making your acquaintance.
Brother James.
Right, shall we head off?
Aye.
Yeah, I kind of stumble off.
Yeah.
I'm pretty loose right now.
Yeah, I think we can go outside.
All right. So as you make your way outside of the tavern, venturing towards the Blackwater residence, that is where we're going to take our break.
Welcome to Ambient Realms. Your role-playing sound adventure begins now.
Okay, then welcome back to the table, folks. So, you're making your way towards the Black Brew residence. Let me bring you back around here. So you come exiting the snapping line, you make your way a little upwards the hill, and on the right side you see this not rich looking house, but a fairly big kind of almost estate going inside. It has its own little garden in the front area and a big garden around the residence itself. And you see lights that are inside. The building itself looks like, compared to the shoddy, shanty-looking like buildings you saw down at the docks, that are mostly like probably storages and similar little buildings. The buildings up here further away from the harbor, and these plank-like walkways are almost of a kind of almost Victorian style. They are rather old, but
the fuck is that sound? Oh, the druid is munching. I can do that too.
But yeah, you make your way towards the entryway. So, what you doing?
What time is it?
It's probably around 10-ish now. But you did see lights burning on the inside.
Alright. I guess we'll head inside. And make sure to take your shoes off at the entrance, please.
I mean, the door is closed.
It's not locked, I'm sure.
It's not locked, no. Are you going to try the door?
Of course.
Okay, so you open it up. You walk inside into this looking like almost like this large entry hall. You see a flight of stairs leading upward. You do hear some noises coming from a room on the right with an open door, but you can't see anything currently. And on the left-hand side, you see a little stout halfling man, like pipe in his mouth, kind of like gray whitish hair that's kind of like just all over the place, and a small little chin beard, pretty long, dangling down. And he like looks at you. First thing he sees Blackwater and says, "My lord, Alton, what are you doing back?" And you hear from the other side, the other room, "Alton?" And just some clanking and something that sounds like a pot dropping. And you hear these small little foot taps, and you see this red-haired woman, like wrinkles around her eyes, and she has like a tired look on her face, but seeing Blackwater, her face immediately brightens, and she says, Alton! And runs towards you, hugs you, gives you a kiss on both cheeks, saying, Mwah! How are you, my boy? What the hell are you doing here at this ungodly hour?
What do you mean what I'm doing here? Am I not welcome?
Now, son, you're always welcome, you know that. And you brought some that's an interesting motley crew, I assume. If I may dare say so myself. How about you all just put your belongings over here in our wardrobe, and we'll just go sit by the hearth for a bit, and you tell us all about what you're doing back in town, son. And your mother says, yes, and I will put on some tea. I've had this little... I've discovered something a few weeks ago. If you take a little bit of alcohol and add in some peppermint of it, I made this little concoction, which I still haven't decided on a name yet, but I want you to try it, Alton. Currently, I'm calling it peppermint schnapps. So, if you want to have a little nightcap, and are you? Oh, never mind. Just sit down, and I will be right with you. And she just ventures off again. And
Kadir, schnapps.
Mr. Black Brew just kind of like looking at each and every one of you, like looking up and just smiling and nodding, kind of like gestures you to enter the big like study area, where you see there's like a bunch of like 4 different. You see 3 big kind of like very heavy recliner-like chairs, and a small little wooden chair on the side, and there's like a little coffee table in front of a burning hearth, and you see that there's like an open book that apparently Mr. Blackbrew was currently reading. Well, sit down, every one of you, and
they are halfling size chairs, huh?
They are halfling size. Yes,
I don't want to break
everything here
something.
is a little bit bit more intricate, but you do see they're like pieces of like, especially the wardrobes themselves are human sized. So there's like opening them up and putting your stuff there. If you're doing that, you see like it's used mostly for practical sense, and more halfling stuff fits inside. But yeah, you see one of the recliners. That Mr. Blackbrew sits inside, and you see Eleni coming back with a tray. There's like several cups of tea and this big bottle she has as well. And she kind of like puts it down. Well, everyone sit down.
Well,
as well as you can.
I sit down on one of the recliner chairs. They should be.
It fits okay. Yeah, for you it's perfectly fine.
I'll sit kind of cross-legged on the floor. I think it's better. I don't want to break anything.
You do see there's this like in front of the floor, and where the coffee table stands on, there's like this. Even though like the room is big and the furniture is a little smaller, there's like this big fur of a brown bear that. Perfect. Even for the standards in here, must have been huge.
Perfect.
I want to take a seat on the bear rug.
All right.
Just stare intently at that bottle of schnapps.
So both of you sit down on the rug. Tiala, what are you doing?
I'm gonna sit on a chair.
All right. Yeah, there's this one little wooden chair which almost looks like it's as large as a recliner, but which makes the sense, which you think is why it's just like a normal sized chair compared to the others. But yeah,
are you sure it's safe to sit on the rug, Kadir? Aren't you worried?
Oh, actually, yeah.
Do you wanna like sitting on it the next half hour? You're gonna try and look under it.
Don't you dare!
But only when Elena and Mr. Blackberry are out of the room. Yeah, of course. Nice one for
Yeah,
her.
you see that she where are you sitting down, Blackwater?
I'll take my favorite chair.
Okay.
Sit on that.
The favorite recliner, right? The one in the middle of both of the others.
Oh, hell yeah.
Kind of like you see that the Mr. Blackwater kind of like lets Eleni sit down. He's like, well, I haven't expected that many guests. We should probably get another chair in here. And he kind of like ventures off to the side and grabs another wooden chair and sits on that. And
as a halfling house, a smoking house, are you allowed to have a pipe here? Or is it a non-smoking halfling house?
No, you do see that Mr. Blackbrew, he has his pipe on.
Okay,
he's already smoking.
Then I'm going
He's
to.
like, oh yes, feel free.
Yeah, I'm going to.
If you want to.
I'm going to
join
take
in.
out my. Yes, I have my beautiful pipe, which I use way too often, not often enough, and still have some smoke bark. Probably a little bit dry now, but so I'm gonna have a smoke with my platinum filigree adorned pipe.
Alrighty. So you put out this nice little platinum adorned pipe and put in your smoke bark, and you all sit there, and Mr. Blackbrew says, well, I guess introductions are in order, Alton. So I am Fosco Blackbrew. This is my wife, Eleni, and it seems you've already met our son, Alton. So who's your merry crew, Alton?
I gesture to them so they introduce themselves.
That's being nice.
Hello, Fasco. I'm Kader. Pleasure to meet you. Thanks for the hospitality.
Branwolf at your service.
I just say even harder.
What was his father's name?
Fosco.
Fosco.
Fosco. Fosco.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna introduce myself. I'm Tiala, and I'm gonna shake both of their hands because that's how we treat.
You see Fosco looking up at you. Oh my, you. Sorry if I intrude, but you're quite the exquisite creature, lady. And Eleni says, now, Fosco. Be nice to our guests.
Thank you very much.
Rise her up here, Fosco.
He seems like
eyes are up there.
Eyes are everywhere up where, yeah. He kind of like just looks at her in terms of like her ears, and I think the last time I've seen these kind of ears were back in Burrow. May I ask, where are you from, lady?
I'm an wood elf, and yes, but I grew up with high elves in a wood forest. Or was it the other forest? I'm not sure.
You grew up in the other forest.
Okay. What's the name of the forest?
The other is the Whitewood.
Okay.
In Revelia.
Yeah. I come both from Whitewood Forest.
Whitewood Forest. Where have I
and
read that name?
The other
before?
forest, yeah.
So, are you from the Empire then? From the Revellian Empire?
Oh yes.
Interesting.
But we elves like to keep to ourselves, so I don't know if I would consider myself really from the Empire.
Ah, okay. So, Alton, you have to tell us everything about us. So, what is? And you see Eleni starting to like hand each of you one of the teas. Does anybody want something of the peppermint schnapps in his little tea?
But I interrupt her and just like pointed Freon. By the way, the dwarf over there, that's Freon.
Hello, Freon.
Greetings.
Just to finish introductions.
Do you want some peppermint schnapps?
No, thank you. But I'm sure Kader might be interested in that.
Oh, just a drop to try out of politeness. That's very kind of you. Yes. Perhaps I'll take your share too, Brian. Yes.
And she kind of like puts in a little drop in your tea and hands the hot cup to you, steaming peppermint tea, and you get this little whiff of heated up alcohol coming from it. Very nice in taste, burns good going down, and it seems like the perfect nightcap to a hard day.
And I wriggle my toes in warmth and comfort.
So, yes, Alton, tell us all about your venture. How did all of you meet, and what are you doing here? I thought you were going to be gone for quite some time, to be honest.
And I wasn't I? I mean,
Well, it's
you remember I don't know, I snuck off of Saltmarsh. I can't remember how long ago. And I landed.
You left us about 2 months ago. I mean, the voyage over all the way to Revelia usually takes 3 to 4 weeks. And coming back, I assume you've been there a couple of weeks only.
I have to admit, I think the majority of the time I was over there, I was unconscious. So I can't really remember too well half of what happened. Either way, before you get too excited, my quest so far has been unsuccessful, unfortunately. But I did manage to get a bunch of, and I just like take out whatever goldberry, what was it, nectar or the processed goldberries that I had onto the table.
You see Eleni's at the mention of your quest, she kind of just goes, "Oh, okay. Well, it's not like there's any time pressure or anything." And her eyes go wide as you put in the vials and tell her that you found some goldberry nectar. "Oh, I've been actually running low on stock with this one, with all the cases of the bull fever coming up. Thank you. Where did you find them?"
You know that island past Kirin Reef, east from here?
Oh, I've never been off Dreadparish Isle myself, Alton, you know that.
I forgot. I'm sorry, Ma. Yeah, there. Basically.
Interesting.
Fought a dragon.
I
rode some centaurs.
A dragon and centaurs. Fascinating.
Oh, I've been busy. But regarding actually, I wanted to talk to Tiala about this. Regarding my quest, I do know that Tiala has some experience with this, what I like to call loyalist poison, that's been, I don't know, uncured since its appearance and untreatable almost. I've heard that you were able to like heal or cure some poison out there, like some unmentioned or unnamed poison. Brion did tell me that.
What?
Did you not?
I mentioned that you are able to wield healing magic, so I thought maybe some of your spells or some of your magic might be able to help Blackwater in his endeavor.
I mean, I can try.
I'm assuming that we don't have any current cases like at home suffering from this.
No, so far your dear sister's been the only, and this is her your dad kind of chimes in. Yes, she has been the only case recorded so far with whatever this evil poison is, I have not seen any other cases so far of people being contaminated by this unknown substance. But I mean, I've been looking around and asking around, and what is so strange is that the time of our daughter's and your sister's death coincides with the dwarven sent troop that has opened up the mine to the south. And I've heard people saying things about the dwarven entrepreneurs down there have found something some time ago, and that they are trying to keep it under wraps, but they are being very secretive about the whole operation down there, which I myself don't want to poke around too much, but I just find it weird. There's a bunch of dwarves coming down, opening some mine or decree of the king, and then a few weeks later, your sister perishes with some unknown substance in her veins, which I have never seen before on this island. But then again, there's many sailors and other merchants coming through ports. They might have brought something to Saltmarsh.
This dwarven mine, we heard that mentioned before in the tavern. Where is that exactly?
Well, the mine itself is about... let me check very quickly how far away it is.
Also, do you know... Sorry. Oh, sorry.
No, you mentioned they're here on the decree of the king. Which king? Whose king?
Well, the king of the Rebellion Empire.
Okay.
The Empire.
He's been
Fuck the Empire.
He's been having his
pillaging his way around.
His men spread out. Well, I mean, on one hand, I don't know if Alton told you, his mother and I, we come from the town of Burl, further inland of the island, and Burl has been fighting back creatures ever since from that have spawned forth from the Dreadwood. We have many rangers here that are employed by the king and the loyalists, and they have tried to make our old coast road as secure as they can. I've healed many good rangers, and many have lost their lives as well, with all of my medicinal knowledge, which I could muster. But yeah, I've always been a little two-sided and two-faced when it comes to the king's endeavors on Dreadparish Isle. On one hand, he's trying to form some sort of militaristic security down here, and we are thankful for that, of course, trying to keep our roads safe. But on the other hand, I don't like them poking around too much, especially opening up mines, going about the island and trying to mine it for resources, and delving into dangerous places where nobody has ventured for years.
Poisoning sisters?
Well, now we don't know that, Alton, for sure.
What else would it be? Come on. You know as well as I do, it's them. It's got to be them. It's their fault.
In all of my career as a doctor, I've never seen anything like it.
So, did I get this right? You both are healers, but not magic users.
Well, I myself am a very renowned doctor in these parts, and you see, like in the back, there are some framed like writs hanging there, some official documents which he's like displaying proudly and kind of like nudging towards with his pipe. And Eleni here, she has a very good hand in all things of alchemy. She knows the plants and roots of this here island. She has even, if not for her, I wouldn't be here. I don't know if Alton told you, but years ago I came down with the Hool fever, and Eleni took it upon herself and ventured herself into the Dreadwood, trying to find a cure and plants where nobody would dare to venture. And she found the ingredients and materials used in our famed aureus nectar ever since. And you see a lady kind of blushing and just putting it on, says, now it was just a girl in love trying to make something out of the necessity of saving her soon-to-be husband. And also I was pregnant at the time. But yes, I've came up with this aureus nectar, and people have been, it's the only cure we've ever found so far of people coming down with the Hool fever. There's still like a few tweaks I might have to do, because we still have to figure out the dosage, it seems. And she kind of like looks off down to the ground in an ashamed manner almost, saying, because it seems that people that take too much of it kind of like get hooked onto it for some reason.
What exactly is this Hool fever? I've never heard of that before. I don't know if any of you have.
News to me.
Except Alton.
Yeah, you see that Bosco chimes in and says, well, Hool fever is something which has been a part of Saltmarsh's life ever since I came here with Eleni, and even before that. It's some sort of disease that spreads throughout the Hool marshes especially. I'm not quite sure myself about the source. Eleni hasn't found any kind of source in plant or flower as well. It just seems to be coming from the ground or the air, but it definitely is a disease that, if untreated, usually results in a more rabid behavior, and if left untreated even further, it will cause skin irritation. And I've seen some really worse cases of where the skin and parts of the muscle cells start to mutate as well.
So if we venture into the wild, we should take some of your medicine with us? Would that be advisable?
Some of your nectar.
He kind of like looks to Eleni and he says, well, I still have a couple of vials we keep for emergencies. My biggest problem is that I was trying to make some more, but my latest batch of swamp orchids is slowly but surely running out. Usually I get them from within the pool marshes as well, but the patch I've visited a month ago is near this so-called haunted house where people have been spreading rumors that activity has flared up. But I don't know if it's people talking crazy. I don't know if it's people that are seeing things in the marshes. I have seen the house myself. I haven't ventured inside, but since my swamp orchid patch is near it, I've been there before, and it seemed just daunting, and that's it. But people talking about strange things happening in the vicinity and sights kind of... To be honest, I'm quite scared of going there.
Well,
So
maybe we
there aren't
could.
any other areas with swamp
yeah.
orchids?
No.
Well, swamp orchids are very hard to find. They usually grow in small little clusters, and I've been using this particular one kind of like on a monthly basis, and it seemed the closest one I could find. I haven't like ventured in further. If you are going into the Hool Marshes yourselves, I would advise always to take some sort of precaution. Maybe wear some rags around your face, because as Fosco thinks, he does seem that it's definitely something in the air causing this disease.
So maybe it would be a
advice.
good idea before we head to the Hool Marshes to maybe get you some swamp orchids so you can do some brewing.
But if they're only found at the marsh, then we've got to
Yeah,
take the
they
risk.
are only found
No,
within
at the haunted
marsh
house.
itself.
Oh, I thought it was at the haunted house.
That's the last patch where I've been, yeah. It was
Yeah,
right
well-
in the vicinity of it.
Yeah, well then, since we...
I mean, I do have, and she kind of like, hang on a second, and she goes around and leaves the room, and she comes back, and you see this, her coming back with these small little vials of a almost like transparent looking liquid inside, but it has a very slight little golden kind of sheen and glow to it.
Mhm.
I have 2 more vials left, which I mean, if you are going, Alton, I of course will gladly give them to you. Otherwise, I would keep them for any kind of... We currently have one older man in the infirmary who is being treated against the fever, but he has gotten his first dose. But I already have around 10 other people that come knocking every second day or so asking for more.
I was just wondering, before we venture on, if it's just the haunted house keeping you away from there. I mean, I'm not afraid. I'll go gather anything that you need, and maybe it's a little adventure for
Yeah,
us.
how
Why
would
not?
we-
Yeah.
How would we identify the swamp orchid?
I was about to say, yes, I would like to see one and draw one in a book so that we come across them, that I can identify them. Maybe?
Or does Alton
Yes,
know this
hang-
since he grew up here?
Alton would recognize a swamp orchid, yes. But Eleni kind of like walks off and from the study takes one of the books and flips it through and shows it to Tiala. It's this kind of like very thick, oh god, what is it, the thing below a flower? Yeah.
Root
Stem.
A root
Yeah,
stem?
the stem. It's
Stem.
like a very thick, thick green stem, and it's this beautiful like whitish kind of orchid flower atop of it, just hanging down.
I'm just gonna paint it.
All right, easy enough. You make like a little reference sketch of it.
I mean, I don't want to
And-
speak for the group, but I just think, I mean, did you want to check out the haunted house anyways? Wasn't
Yeah.
there? Yeah, and
Seems like a good opportunity as well to
yeah, and
contribute towards a cure.
Yeah, we can get the cure, and at the same time, before that, wasn't this poster boy looking for somebody to go check out the haunted house?
Yeah.
And maybe
Yeah,
we
we should
can
see Anders before venturing
maybe we
to
could
the-
even get a job out of this and get some cure for Mama-san as
Yep.
well. Yeah.
Anders, you say? Eleni chimes in.
Yeah, Anders Solmore is one of the council members here, or so I've been told.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you
he's
know
one
of him?
Oh, well, young Anders, of what I know is that he recently inherited his family's fleet of fishing boats after an untimely death of his mother, Petra. And he's the youngest person ever to be elected onto the town council itself. He's a little, what folks say, a little brash and inexperienced, but he is a good young man at heart. But since he has like this big fishing fleet he earned from his mother. He's a little bit of a thorn in the side of some smaller fishing entrepreneurs in the town of Saltmarsh. And as you might know, Saltmarsh is full of smaller independent fishers, and they don't take kindly if somebody comes in and tries to take away this monopoly. Folk also say that he is he's very reminiscent of the king's power here, and he usually is very a very powerful acting figure of the loyalists in Saltmarsh.
Oh boy.
I mean, we do have him, and we also have Gellin Primewater on the council. He's been a dapper, older, very funny fella who's known for his banquets and feasts he usually likes to throw for town. He likes to make small little parades when there's a good catch of the week, and he's very good with people. I've had some experience with him. Gellin Primewater, a very interesting, dapper older gentleman.
And who was going to be throwing these banquets for adventurers? Was this the monopolist, or who was that?
That was the note was from Anders Solmore, who basically had this note out saying that anybody looking to make some money, anybody brave enough to take on the marshes should visit him in his estate.
Yeah, well.
Do you think this Anders is open to a negotiation in these types of matters?
Well, Anders is young, but he has an open ear. At least that's what Ida told me. Ida Oland is the last council member.
Okay.
She's a very good gossiping partner, so to speak. I've been meeting up with her every now and then. She's a very sturdy woman herself. But yes, Anders is usually open for discussion. I mean, that's their job. That's all the council usually does. They shun themselves away in their council meetings and try to decide what's best for Saltmarsh.
Just kind of strange that this Anders would be such a monopolist at the same time on the council, and many other small fishermen are more or less being, pressured into losing business just because he's...
Maybe we could negotiate with him. If he's needing some assistance with the haunted house, we could suggest he donates.
Well, yes, Anders
some
himself,
of his fleet.
While he has a very big fishing fleet and is holding a big parts of these waters and is a steady income at that as well. He definitely is a people person. He is good with folk. He likes to donate his money to the poor as well, and people like him for that.
But at the same time, he's running small businesses out of business, or small fishers out of business.
Yeah, and dwarves, mining.
As I said, I don't. It seems you are not from here.
No, but it's just I just don't like bullies.
Down here in Saltmarsh, we usually have two agendas. We have the loyalists and the traditionalists, and one or the other always tries to make more ground, and our three council members are trying to keep everybody balanced and in check so that there's no overthrowing force, no riots going on in the streets of Saltmarsh. We do have our town guard here, but it's not really needed in most cases, since people try to take care of their own, and our council is doing a pretty good job.
Your son also mentioned that you had the town, and I guess the whole island, has had been reoccurring problems with these pirates from the Crimson Brotherhood. Is that still
Scarlet Brotherhood? Yeah.
the Scarlet Brotherhood? Is that still a problem, or have they more or less
Well,
disappeared?
I mean, the Scarlet Brotherhood, they hold the waters to the north of Dreadparish Isle and also partly towards the east, and they usually it's something they have their eye on the trade routes themselves, and they don't really have anything to do with us land-dwelling folk. They usually stay north in their Sea Prince's hold, but most of the Scarlet Brotherhood, I mean, some of the girls at my brunch have been hearing weird stories and whispers about apparently the Scarlet Brotherhood has their eyes on Saltmarsh as well, but I mean, it's just rumors, no?
Yeah. Are they rumored to have more?
It is never just rumors.
Yeah. Are they rumored to have more ships, or is it just like one? Do they have like a fleet, or do they just have like? Would you know this? Just like one ship where they operate out of?
Well, I'm not that much of a historian on the Scarlet Brotherhood.
okay.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, I just
Alton,
thought-
do you know of anything?
Do you know? Is it just like one ship that causes all this trouble, or is it like a fleet of ships? Would you know this, Blackwater?
What you know, Blackwater, is that it's not like one fleet. It is more of a... What's known of the Scarlet Brotherhood is that it's like a ruthless group of smaller pirate factions and crews that are spread all across the Azure Sea. And
So it's not just not like Davy Jones and one big ship. So it's all different kinds of groups of.
Yeah, it's more of like what people have been telling. Nobody really knows this since, or at least confirms this, but there have been whispers that there are certain captains and ships that are called the Sea Princes, and that they are more or less the driving force, and they come together and have usually... Apparently, they reside somewhere within the so-called Sea Prince's Hold, which is just like the main water body, everything north of Dreadparish Isle. And
I was just wondering if we have to take a one boat or more.
I mean, the last time you've checked, the rumors that you heard were that the Scarlet Brotherhood is made up of around 200 ships, maybe more.
Jeez Louise.
200 individual.
Okay.
We can take that on.
Damn.
Come on.
But you don't know anything about the Sea Princes or how many there are, or if possibly that's just a number that is either thrown around to scare people off, or if it's usually. I mean, the problem is with the Scarlet Brotherhood, people telling the stories are mostly just witnesses from afar, because those who meet the Scarlet Brotherhood, they don't survive. They don't take prisoners.
Dead men tell no tales.
Exactly.
Yes. Okay. Well,
I'm sure that
but that's. I mean, that was just wondering. I mean, we have to come to part what we want to do. That was just in the back of my mind. So I have no idea. I'm just putting a suggestion out there. If we meet with Anders, maybe get a job to adventure over to the haunted house, and since we're there, we can get Mama some flowers. Would be my idea, if the rest of the group is up to that, or I don't know how fast Freon has to travel on to the south.
I mean, I'm not in a rush to get south, so we could have a look at that house.
Yeah.
But
'Cause,
yeah. By the way, do you know anything about the Harrowed Peaks?
Oh, sorry, you're asking who?
The
Elaine
parents?
or-
The
parents.
parents.
They both say, well, I myself don't really know anything. And Elaine chimes in, I haven't been that far. I mean, there's nothing really down there. I've only ventured partly into the outskirts of the Dreadwood itself, but it's, and she looks off to the side, kind of like lost in her thoughts for a second. It's a dreadful place. Like living so close to this wood for being raised in Burl, it still gives me the shivers. But it's in between both of these Harrowed Peaks, what folk call them. But the Dreadwood is a far stretch in between, but that's all I really know.
What's so dreadful about it? Is this monsters
So we should talk.
You're asking this, Brandwolf?
Yeah, I'm asking because of. It's just tales, or because if it's a dreadful place, what is there? Is there monsters in the wood, or is it a wood of magic, or what makes it so dreadful?
What I know of the place, and she kind of thinks to herself for a bit, and then says, the settlements of Dreadparish Isle near the woods, yet they usually maintain ranger patrols that sweep through the outer reaches of the forest periodically, and they patrol the roads there, and they are generally very successful at keeping the monsters that live in the Dreadwood in check. But yes, sometimes a threat avoids them or overcomes them and emerges to wreak havoc across the land, and the Dreadwood, it has all sorts of haunting dark things. I mean, if you're small and quiet enough as us halflings, you can maybe walk around like me, gather some material supplies, and then make your way back as fast as possible. But it's just a dark place, and nobody really knows what lies at its heart.
Okay, so it's more or less the inhabitants in the wood, whatever lives there, makes it dreadful. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, there have been some stories of folk that have been having dreams every now and then, apparently, and they've been like clamoring about that, and usually they would make their way into the woods, get lost, and never return. At least that's what happened to some people in Burl when we were still living there and growing up.
Well, your son has had made a lot of very adventurous friends, strong barbarians, great magicians, bards of many lore, and by the way, he has become captain himself and has slain harpies and dragons. So he has
Slain.
I am very proud of you, Alton.
Yes, you should be.
But and then she kind of takes a stern look at all of you one by one. Whatever you do, if you hold your life dear, do not venture into the Dreadwood.
Okay.
That sounds like a challenge.
Come on, Mama. You know this, Alton. It's a dangerous place. I don't want you venturing out to where you maybe won't return.
But Mom, we killed a dragon just days
Mom!
ago. Come on.
But Mom, I want to go to the woods, Mom. Mom,
oh, come on.
If you love me as your mother, Alton, you stay clear
Oh God,
of those
no!
woods.
Please don't put a guilt trip on him.
Don't
Mama.
do that.
I'll promise you.
Oh, that's just unfair.
There's no guilt in trying to keep my son safe.
Can I
And
pick
if you
her
were
up?
his
Can
friends,
I
you
pick up
would
the
know
little
that.
thing and say, "I'm gonna watch over your boy"? I've done it before, and he can. I even saved his life once or twice.
That implies that my life was in danger. That is not a good
Oh
argument.
yeah, no,
hurt,
no, but
No, absolutely not. No.
he's good. He's been singed a little bit and frozen a little bit and whatever. But okay. Well, then I would say let's
So, do
get
you
our
have a
stuff
place
together.
to stay, or
Not yet.
do you have a place to stay, to sleep?
Well, I'll sleep in front of your fireplace if you let me.
I mean, that's fine with us. If you need a place to sleep, we still have 2 guest rooms upstairs, and I guess 1 or 2 can make their way, make their bed down here, in front of where the hearth. We'll just keep it burning through the night.
We have the infirmary.
Yes, but we have currently 1 case with wool fever in there. I wouldn't be sleeping in the infirmary. You know how contagious wool fever can be.
Like,
Yeah, but you found a cure for it. Come on, it's fine.
Yes, but I don't have any more of it. I need more materials and resources.
Details. You always find a way to cure this stuff. Come on.
Did you ever try to cure it with magic?
You mean like what exactly with arcane powers? I
Like
don't.
the lesser restoration?
I don't know of any spells. I can't cast spells. I wouldn't
You'd
know
have-
of anybody here in Saltmarsh that has
you'd have
that
to
kind
try
of
it,
power.
but it's something wouldn't
How
happen.
is the guy doing? Is he like already pretty healed or?
Well, he's been a little talking crazy a bit, and been muttering some weird stuff, but we keep him on a dose to calm down, and he usually like sleeps most of the time. So the
Is it Old Man Stevens?
no, it's not Old Man Stevens. It's his name is John.
Oh.
John
I don't know
River.
his. I don't know his.
John
Old
River.
Man John. I don't
John
know
River.
his last name.
Old Man
He-
River.
He apparently.
Old Man River.
He apparently was one of them poachers and doing stuff out in the swamp, and then came back to us, and people showed him the way to our clinic, so we took care
It's
of
his
him.
fault then.
Yeah, you poach, you croak. Hey,
Yeah.
why do you go
Done.
out to the
Yeah, but
poach?
Alton, you know your mother. She
poach.
can't say no, and always helps the last beggar out there on the street.
Oh, she saved you.
How contagious is this fever?
Well, it's usually like if you're exposed to it for a certain period of time, for a longer period of time. I don't know the like exact amount, and she looks to Fosco, and he's like, well, I guess we haven't clarified the exact period of time you would have to be exposed to, but if you're wearing a good rag around your face and maybe 1 or 2 layers, that should hopefully don't get too close to him, and you should be fine ideally.
So should I maybe try to cure him? With magic?
Sure, you can try that if you want to.
I mean, I would have to sleep to regain my powers because I'm a little tired right now.
Yeah, I think if
Well,
you
then
look at
let's
the
do
time,
that tomorrow
Yeah.
morning over brunch.
yeah, I was going to say if we catch some sleep now, everybody will be rested, and you can try to heal them, and maybe the rest of us can try to find old Adlon and maybe get an adventure cooked up or checked ready for the haunted house.
All right, so you guys make your beds. Who's gonna take the two guest rooms upstairs, and who's gonna stay down at the hearth?
I'm gonna be at the hearth since I don't have. I don't want to see a hobbit bed and myself lying in it. So
Yeah, likewise.
yeah, I'm gonna
There's a room
call.
for 2 near the hearth.
Yeah,
I'll cuddle up with Branwolf
With Spoon.
and a bear rug.
With Spoon. After Freon's touched my butt last time, I'll spoon with Kadir this time.
Branwolf is a little spoon.
Yep.
see that.
Come here. Kadir, I'm in the back. In a bear hug. Yeah. Yeah.
All right, so you guys make your way to the different beddings down for the night. Easy enough sleep comes to you all as you drift off away.
To La La Land.
You all have a rather dreamless sleep. Rion. Your mind also drifts off to sleep, and after what feels like a couple of hours, you notice your mind waking up. You see, shrouded in fog, the two peaks of Dreadparish Isle, of the Herald Peaks, with the marshy land on the northern part in front of you, and behind it what seems like an endless stretch between these peaks of dark forest. You are suddenly pulled beneath you what looks to be endless ocean water once more. You see darkness enveloping you completely. You feel sort of like all of the air escaping your chest, and you feel this tight grip of, you're not sure if it's fear, panic, or dark tendrils that wrap themselves around each body part of you, the arms, the shoulders, the neck. In front of you, there is a light that opens. The single big eye, lidless at this space in the darkness in front of you, yellow and piercing with its gaze. And you hear one word that distinctly burns itself into your mind, saying, "Retrieve." You are thrust upward, breaking through the water, and now seeing the island once more, your gaze is pushed forward between the peaks. Your vision races through the trees of the Dreadwood. What you recognize, you see darkness, there's no light coming through, but still you kind of make out shapes and shadows around you. You see bits and pieces of, you're not sure if it's tree trunks, if it's some leaves rustling, if it's some weird naked and white creature that kind of claws itself through the trees itself, looking at you, but looking to the side, it's nothing is there. And you keep going and keep going. You see a few little pools of murky swamp water, and suddenly you see that you are halfway with your nose with the water surface right above your lips, and you're looking in front of you. There is what looks to be another head a couple meters in front of you that pokes slowly up out of the swampy looking water in this darkness enveloping you. You don't see a face. It is just this grown over, no shape, no nose, no eyes, no mouth, just this pointy face that comes to a point. You see bits and pieces of twigs standing to the left and right. and then kind of like darting back for a second, its long clawed arm reaches for you, and you awake, bathed in sweat. And for a brief moment, you swear you could smell the almost like dark pine smell of the forest. But within that same second, it's gone. And that is how all of you come to consciousness. All of you rested, except for Freon, who has had a hell of a dream and nightmare. And that is where we are going to stop for today.
And that's a wet dream if I've ever heard one. Holy crap.
Damn, I'm not going to sleep all tonight. Thank you very much.
And
Damn, I'm scared.
And we will
Going to your
continue
super
on next week, as usual.
Of course, Brambles doesn't know this, but you're going alone. I'm not going to spooky old woods with creatures like
seriously, that's
the hell with
your
that.
problem.
Yeah,
Well, I
no.
told you you don't need to come.
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
He did warn you.
Yeah.
Considering that, I might take you up on that.
But then you don't
that.
know shit about that.
But once again, he never.
I still
he
don't know
never
shit about
tells
it. You
anything.
haven't told anything.
He never tells anything.
Before we stop for tonight,
Yeah.
I want to quickly still say a thank you, because we did have a few first reviews actually on iTunes for our podcast.
Ooh.
So if you're listening, be sure, if you're on iTunes, to subscribe and leave a review. Be sure, if you're on Spotify or wherever you're getting your podcast from, to leave a subscription. If you're on YouTube, also like and subscribe there. We have from Druidic Habit, who rated us 5 stars and says, "Great start, looking forward to hearing more episodes." And we also have from Mike Common Sense another review saying, "Funny cast with sympathetic voices and a cool dynamic. Story is exciting so far as well. Go ahead, guys." And from Brettist, who also rated 5 stars, writing, "Very sympathetic characters and awesome DM." So yes, we're always happy to read these kinds of little reviews. So if you're listening, be sure to make your voice heard. It is cool.
You chose that last one, right?
I chose that last one. I chose it to read it last,
So,
to leave a lasting impression.
Yeah.
exactly. That's it.
His ghostwriter did that. No monsters today, but we had a ghostwriter.
Yep. Well,
No, it's awesome that people-
we have a haunted mansion to explore next session, most likely.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Or
Action
maybe
again.
also Freon is deciding to just get the hell on the next boat and get off
That
this
could be.
island.
Well, first thing I'm going to do
true.
by looking into his very shady eyes with his bags, I'm going to ask him, how did you sleep? And then we'll see what he says. But I do not think that he will share. He never
All right,
does.
so thank you guys for joining in on us tonight, and we'll see you next week.
Just a drop to try out of politeness.